There are ethical evaluations because there are possibilities of effects on sentient states. The reason I think Benatar's asymmetry is correct is that it reflects the fact that creating sentient life creates needs that don't need to exist and at a high cost. Benatar's asymmetry says non-existence of negatives is good and non-existence of positives is only not bad. I think the negatives and the positives should not be treated equivalently because perceptions of positive feelings depend on pre-existing states for which there is no equivalent in relation to negative feelings. If a being had absolutely 0 degree of deprivation or dissatisfaction, the being would not want anything and could not have a more positive feeling state. There is nothing that is equivalent in relation to suffering, as deprivation and dissatisfaction are in relation to perceptions of positive feelings, or as addiction is in relation to perceptions of positive feelings. The capacity to suffer does not depend on pre-existing states of positive feelings. That is a description of fundamental aspects of the capacity to have feelings, and it applies to all sentient life. There is no reason to think the fundamental nature of the capacity to feel would be different in different sentient species. The capacity to feel functions as reward and punishment in evolution, and all sentient species share common sentient distant ancestors. A thought experiment that makes it clear that the degree of how negative and how positive feelings can be is not equivalent is to pick any hour of a day and suppose you could know which being on the planet had the worst hour and which had the best hour. If you could either experience both of those hours of life consecutively or else be in a coma for 2 hours, it would be obvious that the coma would be the far better 2 hours. One being's perceptually positive time does not justify a cost of another being's suffering. People who say the propagation of life is good are advocating an unethical acceptance of the costs.